which equation matches the table. So we have here a list of information expressed on a table. Our x value starts at 6 and goes up by 1 each time, 6 to 10. And here we have y values which are increasing, so we know we're dealing with a growth factor. Our general equation is going to be y is equal to a times b raised to the x power. So let's start by finding the growth factor and determine the value of b. For that, I'm going to start with my second term, 49,152, and divide it by the previous number, which gives us a growth factor of 4. When I find a quotient of those two numbers, we get 4. Now, I'm going to divide these two, 196,608 by its previous number, and we see we also get 4. Looks like we're on to something here. Let's take this number, 786,432, and divide it by the previous number. That's also 4. Just to be thorough, I'm going to try this last one here. Take 3,145,728 and divide it by the previous number. And we see that also is 4. So we've determined that our growth factor is 4. Now we have to turn our attention to the y-intercept, the a value. When we look at our possible candidates for choices over here, we see that a has a growth factor of 4. B does not have a growth factor of 4, so we can eliminate B. C has a growth factor of 4. Now, the y-intercept here is 1. Okay, so we have here a y-intercept is 12,288. Here the y-intercept is 1, and here this is also the growth factor of 4, and the value of A, the y-intercept, is 3. So which of these three candidates has the right y-intercept? Well, to calculate the y-intercept, what we need to do is work backwards. So if we take this number and divide it by 4, we're going to get 786,432. If I take that number and divide it by 4, we're going to get 196,608. If I divide that by 4, we get 49,152, and so on. If I take that number and divide it by 4, we're going to have 12,288. So I'm going to continue dividing by 4, and I'm actually going to have to do this until we get all the way to 0. And I created a table which shows us that. So here we have our table, and what I do is I take 12,288, divide that by 4, gives us 3,072. Divide that by 4, and we have 768. Divide that by 4, we have 192. Divide that by 4 again, we have 48. Divide that by 4 again, we have 12, and 12 divided by 4 is 3. So we've now determined that when x is 0, right here, a is 3. Our a value is 3. So going back to the previous slide, we see here this is the one that has the y-intercept 3, so this is the correct answer. D is the correct answer.